Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for Monday, December 16th, 2024. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm going to use the Empyrean Tarot today to see what's up for us for the week, although I will most likely be back midweek. So today should cover today, tomorrow, and I should see you Wednesday or Thursday for another reading. If you like these readings, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell if you want to be notified, and comment if you feel interested. I love having conversations with people, especially if these readings, resonate with you and you want to tell me, what's going on in your life. It's always welcome. All right. Just going to cut the deck and we'll see what we got. Please excuse any shaking of the camera. The stand I'm using is not the best. Okay, Sovereign of Globes. Put that over on the side here. The Sovereign of Globes is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, that energy has been coming up a lot recently. And I think it's because of the way we interact with our physical reality is coming into a moment of change. This is the Five of Pentacles. The wound, healing of the wound, the Queen of Pentacles directly relates to that. And then the Nine of Daggers, which is essentially, the Nine of Swords. The interesting thing about this spread here so far is that I think the Queen of Pentacles is actually overwriting the anxiety that's represented by that Nine of Swords because of the healing of the wound. But maybe it's not just the healing of the wound that the Five of Pentacles explains, so much as it's the facing of such wound, which then by kind of default heals it. Six of Wands, yes, movement away. Wait, Six of Wands is Six of Swords, that's movement away from difficulty. Six of Wands is victory. Wow, I'm having a day. And then the Eight of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so what's amazing about this so far is that we're leaving something behind. We're leaving something behind that has essentially been a crutch. So if you're noticing anywhere in your personal life that there is something you relied on, something that you used to overcome an anxiety that you can no longer use to do said thing, it's like we are moving on from one way of being into a completely different way of being, and essentially it is a victory, even though it's also a loss. So it may be, I can imagine this would be the loss, because it's a Cups card, it's a loss of something that felt like protection, something that felt like a container, a safe space. But it is also a moving on from that the anxiety that also lived in that space. So, for example, because of the Five of Pentacles, I can imagine this would be something that you use to keep yourself from having to feel a loss of some kind. So this is leaving behind a way of being or a physical situation that we used to rely on to keep us from having to face an anxiety about loss. And this essentially is the balancing point, that Temperance right there. The beautiful thing about the Temperance card is that it brings us that sense of ebb and flow. So it calls for like sort of a relaxed approach, I guess would be the way I would want to say that. It calls for a relaxed approach because Temperance doesn't force. Temperance flows. So you have an option here to leave behind something that you used to protect yourself from something that happened in the past, or the reminder of something that happened in the past. Because now you're safe. That's what these six say. right to start. You're safe now. Wheel of Fortune at end of the cycle. I really honestly think it's the end of an emotional cycle. This may be the emotional part of whatever we've been particularly transitioning out of for the past few weeks, that have been also coming up. Resting, letting something rest. And then the Five of Wands. The interesting thing is that battle, it's giving up the battle, letting an old battle die, so to speak, or letting an old battle go, letting an old stalemate go, something that has been causing this kind of intense sense of anxiety. What's really interesting is that the card that I covered up the Nine of Swords with is actually the Lovers. If you can see, I don't know if I can tilt this so that you can see it well. It's the Lovers card. So the Lovers for me represents relationships, but it also represents choice. So it seems to be that this reading is signaling the choice to move on from something that kept us protected within our relationships, from ever having to actually face our vulnerability, or ever having to actually face the places in which we've been hurt. So you may find yourself opening up to things that you did not expect to be opening up to. Right. The King of Swords. And the King of Pentacles. Those two energies seem to be at odds, but they're not. Okay? The King of Pentacles is this sharer, this abundance, this wellspring of wisdom and abundance, right? Whereas the King of Swords is this sort of direct, clear, unimpeded mental energy. So here you have the meeting of the mind and the physical reality. Now, being that the only cups that came out was the Eight of Cups, this tells me this, while this may be a relational question, it is more of a question or a situation relating directly to how these relationships in our lives physically manifest. So it's more about, are we in alignment, or are we in alignment with the reality and the way we see things and the way we believe things to be, or are we kind of seeing something that isn't happening? That could be one way of seeing it, or potentially seeing something or wishing to see something that isn't happening, you know. The Star. This is interesting. This is, to me, reads very healing. This reads as a healing moment to me. A leaving behind, a dropping of a guard, a dropping of an unnecessary guard, putting a battle to rest, finally moving on from something that may have affected our ability to relate to other people, or to open our hearts, or to open our minds to new ways of being. That King of Swords, King of Pentacles energy. So it's this culmination, because of the Kings, it's this embodiment culmination moment of aligning how you really think and what your reality shows you. So it's seeing the truth. With that Star, it's seeing the truth and coming to a point of hope, which is beautiful. Because with that Star, even if the content is difficult, the result is hopeful. So whatever it is you're putting to rest, even if it's cathartic, even if it brings up some grief with that Five of Pentacles, there is essentially a sense of moving on from a difficult lesson, of no longer holding that difficult lesson as the truth for all future instances of whatever the theme is for you. Like I said, with the Lovers at the bottom, this is probably relational, but it could very much be physical situations as well for you. If I would say any situation in where your self-worth has been questioned, or where you have questioned your self-worth, or let that be an issue. So far so good, I would say. I want to pull a few more, so let me see what else I can get. I like seeing the healing readings, because it feels like we've been working on something pretty consistently for a long time, and each time I pull the movement away from a past scenario, I wonder if we're just getting, Four of Cups, we're just getting another layer of that. All right, the Four of Cups flew out of the deck. Four of Cups is about kind of like the dream, about denying the offer on some level, being disillusioned with the offer from the divine, not seeing it for what it is, not paying attention to the resources that you have, but wishing you had something else, qualities like that. I'm going to read it this time as not seeing the offer for what it is, because that's the one that gave me shivers when I said it. I feel that there may be something in our lives, for many of us, that is essentially a gift, and we may not be seeing it for what it is because of the coloring of the past situation, because of the way our mind tends to see familiar things, even if the familiar things are not exactly the same. So there's something here about paying close attention to what is new, letting your heart see the new thing. Let's see if I can. Oops, this one. Star again. Yeah, letting your heart see the new thing, letting the hope in, because nothing is perfect. It's this one. Three of Wands. Yeah, going out and getting. The Three of Wands is all about waiting for your ships to come in, but it's actually about deciding to take the road and go find it for yourself. There's something here about taking the offer, about saying yes to the offer and getting started and moving in a direction, as opposed to allowing the past to sort of repeat itself. The Lovers again. And then the Page of Pentacles. Yeah. Can you let the new reality create itself? Can you believe in potential of a new way, of a new situation, of something different? Or is everything going to be a reminder of the past? That's what it's asking you. And then the Knight of Swords. It's pretty clear to me that we're, for those that this resonates with, that we're moving into the time where we're no longer going to be willing to put up with the stuff that we used to, in that from ourselves. I don't mean from others, because we may have already ended those cycles. This is more I'm not going to let my belief system get in the way of something real and good, or something I really want, or something I'm really happy about. So I would say, if you find yourself at odds with an experience, ask yourself the question of whether or not it's because you believe that everything is the same as it always was. And if the situation you're in is not at all the same as the past, then it may be time to accept the offer. Let the universe show you which way to go. Open up. Because whether or not you choose something should be based on whether or not it's in alignment with who you really are, versus whether or not you believe it's going to be a repeat. I think that it's time we start making active choices, or at least that's what the reading is telling me. It's time to make that active choice, that Three of Wands, instead of waiting for it to come to you. But the thing is that there is movement. So regardless of whether or not you know which way to go, there's movement anyway. The choice is made. That Lover's card can also be a choice. It doesn't always have to relate directly to partnerships. Sometimes it's just about making a decision. And with all the Pentacles and all of the Swords cards, this is a decision that's up to you. You get to decide which way this goes. So choose what is true for you. And you should end up with that Star card at the end. That hope. That sense of, I guess, divine alignment. Not to sound too optimistic, but that's how it reads. So look for your opportunities for divine alignment, I guess. And if you get a gift from the universe, don't turn it down. I'll be right there with you, actively working to not turn down gifts from the universe, gifts from our higher selves, It's all us anyway. We're all in this together. So, all right. Well, have a good day. Have a good day tomorrow. And I will see you soon. And I hope all is well. All right. Bye.